You see, everyone's got their little demons, their little inner voice of madness. But what do most people do? They let it run wild. They let it scream, let it flail, let it smash up the living room and turn their lives into a public spectacle. They make a mess and call it rebellion, a tantrum and call it a breakthrough. And the world loves it. They can point, they can laugh, they can label it unstable, and then they can go to bed feeling safe because they know exactly what they're dealing with. A sloppy, messy, easy to spot kind of crazy. That's not madness, my friends. That's just a bad habit. That's a wild dog you can put on a leash. That's the kind of chaos you can throw a rock at, and it runs away. But what if the beast with the broken smile isn't running wild? What if it's sitting quietly at a desk, a pen in its hand, drawing up blueprints? What if the crazy you think you see is just a front for something far, far more terrifying? What if the psycho isn't screaming at the world but taking notes on it? They think they're playing a game, don't they? All of them. The haters who whisper, the fake friends who smile, the devils who make their deals. They think they're the ones, holding the cards, pulling the strings. They're so proud of their little plots, so smug about their little traps. They love a good plan, as long as it's theirs. But the psycho with a plan, the one they mocked, the one they underestimated, he doesn't need to move. He doesn't even need to speak. He just needs to watch them build their own gallows. He just needs to listen to them dig their own graves with every lie they tell and every rumor they spread. They want you to fight. They want you to lose control. That's what they expect. That's their comfort zone. They're used to a slugging match where they can land a punch, get a cheap shot in. But what happens when you don't swing back? When you just stand there, a slow, knowing grin spreading across your face, watching them fall apart without you lifting a single finger? That's when the comedy begins. Your enemies, your so-called friends, they're so busy digging your grave, they forget to look up and see you're not even in it. They're so focused on your supposed downfall that they trip over their own shovels. You see, they wanted a show. They wanted a dramatic entrance, a bloody fight, a tragic ending. And you gave them something much more demented. You gave them a comedy, a slapstick, routine where they play the clowns and you're the silent, unblinking audience. They're so desperate to see you fail that they're failing themselves. They're running around with their little stories, their little accusations, trying to get you to react. But you're not a puppet. You're a director. You don't need to pull the strings because they're already dancing to a beat only you can hear. And what a frantic, pathetic dance it is. They're convinced they're writing your obituary, but all they're doing is sketching a self-portrait of their own shame. They think they broke you with their whispers. They think they shattered you with their smirks. But all they did was give you a gift, the gift of clarity. They showed you exactly who they were. And in return, you showed them what a truly focused mind can do. It doesn't rage. It doesn't cry. It simply observes, and then it organizes. It takes every insult, every betrayal, every lie and catalogs. It turns those sharp little knives they stuck in your back into tools, into data points. And when the time is right, you don't have to stab them back. You just have to show the world the masterpiece of chaos they've created all by themselves. A chaotic, beautiful, self-inflicted wound. A work of art, made from their own insecurities and foolish pride. They wanted to bury you, but all they did was plant you, and now you're growing through their floorboards, cracking the very foundation of their false little lives. The witches, the snakes, the devils with their little deals. They wanted your chaos to stay sloppy. They wanted it to be easy to contain, easy to laugh at. But when the chaos gets a blueprint, when the madness gets a manifesto, that's when their little world of spells and curses comes crashing down. They can't hex what they don't understand. They can't curse a mind that's 2 steps ahead of their pathetic rituals. They wanted you to be a wild animal, a lunatic they could laugh at. But you became a hunter, a patient, methodical, and hilarious hunter. You didn't just survive their storm. You became the storm, and they never saw it coming because they were too busy laughing at your supposed vulnerability and the fake friends. Oh, the fake friends. They're the funniest of all, the masters of camouflage, the Dollar Tree chameleons who thought they were slick. They smiled in your face, kissed your cheek, then slipped a knife in your back like they were auditioning for some low-budget soap opera. Only problem, they forgot you don't die easy. You didn't just notice, you remembered. You kept receipts, and now you don't even need to expose them. Life's exposing them for you. They're running around trying to keep the mask on while you're sitting back, enjoying the show. Their betrayal didn't break you. It became the setup for the joke that's making everyone laugh at them. And the best part, you don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to scream. You don't even have to speak. The focused psycho is the silent killer. You're living proof that revenge doesn't need fireworks. Sometimes the slow burn is funnier. Sometimes the punchline is just watching them crumble under the weight of their own shame while you grin like you already saw the ending. That's the beauty of it. They thought the psycho was their weakness. Turns out the psycho with a plan was the final nail in their coffin. And isn't it hilarious? The same people who mocked you are now the entertainment. There's nothing more demented than a psycho with a plan. Because that's not just crazy. That's customer service for karma. And baby, business is booming. Look at your haters now. The ones who swore you'd never get it together, who laughed when you slipped. They're out here sweating harder than a vegan at a barbecue, choking on the smoke of their own trash talk. They thought you were a circus act, but turns out you're the ringmaster. And now they're the clowns juggling their own regrets. And fake friends, please. Those dollar store Judas knockoffs. They smiled in your face, kissed your cheek, then tried to bury the knife in your back, like they were auditioning for some low-budget soap opera. Only problem, they forgot you don't die easy. You turn that knife into a steak dinner. You wear betrayal like jewelry. And the funniest part, you didn't even have to expose them. They're out here exposing themselves daily, slipping up, tripping over their own lies, looking like Wi-Fi with one bar. Let's talk about the witches, shall we? Stirring their little cauldrons, muttering curses, thinking they're spooky, huh? The only thing they hexed was their own dignity. Their spells backfired so hard, they probably need customer support. Every curse they cast on you came with free shipping and a return to sender label, and now they're choking on their own black smoke while you're sitting pretty, sipping tea, grinning, like the ghost they couldn't banish. And the snakes, oh, the snakes. They slithered in close, thought they could coil around your throat, squeeze the life out. But a focused psycho doesn't strangle. A focused psycho skins snakes and makes boots. Now they're crawling naked, exposed and embarrassed, sliding across the floor of their own mess while you stomp through life, wearing their hide like Fashion Week couture. The joke: you didn't need revenge. You didn't need fire or fists. You just needed patience, and patience, baby, is the cruelest weapon. Because while they were laughing, you were planning. While they were scheming, you were plotting. While they were digging your grave, you were measuring it for their size. Now you don't have to bury them. Their own shame is already 6 FT deep. And that's why there is nothing more twisted, more funny, more poetic than watching every enemy trip on the banana peel they threw in your path. They wanted you to be the punchline, but the psycho with a plan. The psycho owns the stage, and now the whole damn world is laughing at them. The haters bought tickets, thinking they'd watch you fall apart, but surprise, they're the ones on stage now, juggling their insecurities while the spotlight cooks them alive. Look at them, clowns with cracked makeup, dripping envy down their cheeks, trying to keep the act together while their wigs slide off. They wanted to call you crazy, but they're the ones pacing the floor at 3 AM like cockroaches waiting for the lights to come on. And the fake friends. Oh, give it up for the fake friends, folks. The masters of camouflage, the Dollar Tree chameleons who thought they were slick, smiling in your face while checking if your wallet's open, nodding while sticking knives in your ribs like it's a group hobby. But see, the psycho with a plan doesn't forget. You didn't just catch them, you cataloged them. And now they're living life like unpaid extras in a sitcom called Backstabbers Anonymous. Every scene they're in, the audience boos. Every word they say, the laugh track goes off. Next up, the witches. Oh yes, the spell-casting wannabes, stirring. Their little cauldrons with ingredients they bought off clearance at Spirit Halloween, whispering curses they found on Pinterest. And what happened? Every spell backfired like a cheap firework. One minute they're chanting over a candle. The next minute they're choking on the smoke while you're eating popcorn and watching the show. They tried to hex you and you turned their curse into confetti. Now they're coughing glitter and wondering why their broomsticks out of gas. Don't forget the snakes. Oh, the snakes deserve an encore. Slithering in the grass, thinking they're silent, thinking they're smooth, but snakes forget. Grass gets cut, and when the grass goes, so do they. You didn't just spot them, you stomped them, skinned them and turned them into accessories. Now they're lying limp in the dirt, while you're walking through life in snakeskin boots, heels clicking like a countdown to their next humiliation. And the devils, let's roast the devils too. They strutted around like they had the contract signed, sealed, and delivered, thought they owned your soul. But what happens when the psycho reads the fine print? You ripped that contract in half, lit it on fire, and laughed, while they scrambled to put out the flames with gasoline. Now they're standing in the ruins of their own deal, sweating through their horns, looking like accountants who just realized the books don't balance. That's the show, isn't it? Every enemy, every hater, every liar lined up like ducks at a carnival game, waiting to get knocked over one by one. And the punchline: you never had to fire a shot. You just focused, you planned, you smiled, and the world did the rest. Now they're the ones begging for an intermission while you're headlining the comedy of their downfall. Because nothing is more demented, more twisted, more gut-bustingly funny than a psycho with a plan. And baby, this show, it's sold out forever. And what they don't understand, what they'll never understand, is that you aren't just one person with a plan. You're an idea. You're the living, breathing proof that the world's a joke, and you're the one telling it. They thought they could outrun you. They thought they could outsmart you. They thought they could outlast you, but you're not even in the race. You're the one holding the finish line. Every single lie they told, every single promise they broke, every single smirk they wore has boomeranged back with the speed of light. And you know what the best part is? They can't even look away. Their own shame is the spotlight, and they're trapped in it, writhing, twitching, praying for the curtain to fall, but it won't. Not while you're still smiling. They built their little kingdom on a foundation of your pain, but you just sat back and watched as that foundation crumbled under the weight of their own hypocrisy. They thought they were building a fortress, but they were just playing with sand, and a psycho with a plan knows exactly when the tide is coming in. So let them call you crazy, let them whisper, let them cower in their little corners, pretending everything's fine, because they know the truth. They know the focused psycho is out there, watching, waiting, and laughing. And that laughter, that's not a sound of madness. It's the sound of victory. It's the final, exquisite punchline that proves that sometimes the only thing more dangerous than a wild dog is a genius who decided to get off his leash. They wanted to make you a joke. Instead, you made them the punchline of a story that will echo through eternity.